we feel that this budget is cut to the minimum now. We have spent quite a bit of time studying the budget, looking at the priority items to try to give the services that are needed and still hold the budget to what we considered a very minimum program.
One other area of concern was additional money for the police department, fire department. Has anything developed in that area?
No, that was discussed also this morning, and we had figures that were in the brochure when we gave the first briefing with the council, showing alternates that could be considered and what those alternates would cost and what it would mean on the tax rate.
The bill that I take most pride in passage is the Cold War GI Bill, because I had to fight 3 presidents, 2 in my own party. I fought that bill for 8 years. I had senators who were good friends said, "Ralph, I'll vote for you, I'll support you, but you can never win. The Defense Department's against you. You're wasting your time. Why don't you quit?" I said, "I'm not going to quit till we won."
I've discussed this with at least one member of the Tarrant County legislative delegation and will mention it to others. In a governmental body, we win some contests and we lose others. I firmly believe that majority rule should prevail, and if I lose, I think it's proper to lose to a majority.
You're saying you no longer have to go to Washington for local programs?
You no longer have to go to Washington or to the regional level for decisions on such matters as urban renewal, model cities, public housing, and FHA.
Is this normally accepted by the city fathers in, say, Dallas and Fort Worth?
Well, this has been in response to encouragement from all of the people that we do business with, city officials, housing authority officials, renewal authority officials. They're very much in agreement with the concept of our reorganization, and we expect their cooperation as we put this into effect.
Well, of course, the women have always carried their responsibilities on an equal basis, so there'd be no change there. I think that American citizens should, seriously. I think they should have the same rights, the same opportunities for education, for employment, for decent housing, and I think that all Americans should carry the same responsibilities, yes.
One notable area of discrimination against males is in the area of courts of law, primarily divorce courts. Can you foresee the day when men will have equal rights with women?
I think there is considerable discussion about domestic matters, and I think, as a matter of fact, that in some cases men, the alimony has treated men unfairly.
Of course, Ben is really a knowledgeable young man about governmental affairs, and you never know how far anyone can go.
I would say that if he continues to develop as he has the past 6 or 8 years in governmental circles and bides his time and doesn't get in too big a hurry, that no doubt he does have a great political future ahead of him.
We're going to cover the points of whether or not we consider the Dallas County jail facilities adequate and all that we should expect of a confinement and a correction facility. You're going to find what our recommendations are for changes, for innovations or continuations of aspects of the program which we would want changed or would want continued.
What do you hope to accomplish?
Well, in their education, places that were simply names now become realities to them, so that their imagination expands, their whole outlook, their scope of education will change with experience there in Rome and in Greece.
As you see it now, will this be an annual treat for university?
We expect this to continue as part of our standard program. One of the interesting things about this is it is our core program. This is what we expect of the students, not a frill on the side, but it's part of their central education.
I'd like to talk to a couple of young people, see what they think about this program. Excuse me, what is your name?
Raul Peralez.
And what's the first name?
Raul.
Raul, what do you think you're going to get out of this trip?
Oh, well, it's hard to say. I'm just really enthusiastic about it. I know coming into touch with another culture, it'll really be something great. I just know it.
Hope you have a nice time. What is your name?
Ruth Ann Just.
And Ruth Ann, do you think you'll get any studying done?
Well, it's hard to say, but I sure hope so. There are going to be so many things to see, but we'll fit in study somehow.
Fine, thank you. And your name?
Mary Sombranowitz.
Now, you're laughing about her getting any work done. What about yourself?
I'm not too sure.
You're just not too sure at all. All right. This is a group of about 60 young sophomores at the University of Dallas. This is going to be a regular treat for the university starting this fall. It may be a lot of fun, but it's also going to be a lot of work. This is Jim Mitchell, Channel 8 News on the Move at the University of Dallas.
There are a lot of jokes going around the country nowadays about how the long hairstyles are driving barbers out of business. Well, it's not a joke here at the University of Texas at Arlington. After 50 years, the Campus Barber Shop is about to close. I asked its proprietor, Wayne Stout, why he's going to leave.
Due to lack of help and slowness of business.
Is the fact that most young people are wearing their hair long affecting you in any way?
It has all effect on it. Everyone nearly is wearing their hair longer now. And therefore they go from 5 to 6 weeks for a haircut, between haircuts, and instead of 2 to 3. And that has cut the money down, and that does help.
So after 50 years, this landmark, the UTA Barber Shop, located now in the basement of the Student Union building, is closing. Jay Lewis, Channel 8 News on the Move, Arlington. In other words, across the nation, barbers are having trouble.
Yes.
Well, I noticed some barbers going into a business of styling the long hair, more or less like a women's style salon. Have you considered that?
I have thought about it, but they are having their troubles too.
In other words, people who are wearing the hair long don't particularly want to spend $10 for style.
That's right. The money situation there. And they learn to put the style of set in themselves after they have their hair cut.
Where are you planning?
Well, we're discussing the prison farm study report that is anticipated to be completed and presented to the Dallas County Commissioners Court, and that will be within approximately 30 days. The committee right now is in an adjoining room. We've been working since 10 o'clock this morning going over a preliminary draft of the recommendations of this Prison Farm Study Committee to the Commissioners Court. You ask what areas it will cover.
We feel that the decisions regarding HUD programs can be better made on a local level by people who live in the community. And in response to this, we're creating 5 area offices in this region, and they will have total authority to commit for projects and also to fund any programs that the HUD has to offer.
If a marriage breaks up, and where usually there's blame on both sides, it seems to me it ought to be settled on the merits of that specific case.
Because 2 members voted a 6% pay increase when 2 others were absent, the Tarrant County Commissioners Court has been locked in controversy for more than a month. In some counties, the legal advisors have said that such an action is invalid. In others, it has been approved. I would like to see this source of contention clarified by the legislature and a law passed requiring an affirmative vote of a majority of the membership before an order of the court can be entered on the minutes.
This fellow doesn't ask a lot. Just a halfway decent shot at a good job, the opportunity to house his family adequately, and to see his children's education limited only by their ability to learn. Black or white, Protestant, Catholic, or whatever, I believe he deserves at least the opportunity to achieve these things. But he's also the fellow who's seeing every level of government take a bigger bite out of his hide every day. Here at home, he's getting the bad news about tax increases, getting it from his school district, city, and county right now. If he's one of the many people on fixed incomes, he has to be getting desperate.
These will be undoubtedly quieter. And you notice you can't hear them in this office. Take off when you're on the side of the runway. It's when you're a couple of miles down to the end of the runway.
That's when they start putting out the noise?
That's what I think.
What about the big wide-bodied engines? Will they be quieter at that distance?
They're quieter. They're considerably quieter engine all the way around.
And you think residents around airports will actually be glad to see these planes come?
Comparatively speaking. But I'll say this, that lots of people don't like any noise if they think they can sue and get some money for it.
Pretty much to the